Chapter 1 of Birds, Bees, Sharp Eyes, and Other Papers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Birds and Bees, Sharp Eyes, and Other Papers by John Burroughs. Chapter 1. Bird Enemies. How surely the birds know their enemies! See how the wrens and robins and bluebirds pursue and scold the cat, while they take little or no notice of the dog. Even the swallow will fight the cat, and, relying too confidently upon its powers of flight, sometimes swoops down so near to its enemy that it is caught by a sudden stroke of the cat's paw. The only case I know of in which our small birds fail to recognize their enemy is furnished by the shrike. Apparently, the little birds do not know that this modest-colored bird is an assassin. At least, I have never seen them scold or molest him, or utter any outcries at his presence, as they usually do at all birds of prey. Probably it is because the shrike is a rare visitant, and is not found in this part of the country during the nesting season of our songsters. But the birds have nearly all found out the trick the jay, and when he comes sneaking through the trees in May and June in quest of the eggs, he is quickly exposed and roundly abused. It is amusing to see the robins hustle him out of the tree which holds their nest. They cry "Thief, thief!" to the top of their voices as they charge upon him, and the jay retorts in a voice scarcely less complimentary as he makes off. The jays have their enemies too, and need to keep an eye on their own eggs. It would be interesting to know if jays ever rob jays, or crows plunder crows, or is there honor among thieves even in feathered tribes. I suspect the jay is often punished by birds which are otherwise innocent of nest robbing. One season I found a jay's nest in a small cedar on the side of a wooded ridge. It held 5 eggs, every one of which had been punctured. Apparently some bird had driven its sharp beak through their shells, with the sole intention of destroying them, for no part of the contents of the eggs had been removed. It looked like a case of revenge, as if some thrush or warbler, whose nest had suffered at the hands of the jays, had watched its opportunity, and had in this way retaliated upon its enemies. An egg for an egg. The jays were lingering near, very demure and silent, and probably ready to join a crusade against nest robbers. The great bugaboo of the birds is the owl. The owl snatches them from off their roosts at night, and gobbles up their eggs and young in their nests. He is a veritable ogre to them, and his presence fills them with consternation and alarm. One season, to protect my early cherries, I placed a large stuffed owl amid the branches of the tree. Such a racket as there instantly began about my grounds is not pleasant to think upon. The orioles and robins fairly shrieked out their affright. The news spread instantly in every direction, and apparently every bird in town came to see that owl in the cherry tree, and every bird took a cherry, so that I lost more fruit than if I had left the owl indoors. With craning necks and horrified looks, the birds alighted upon the branches, and between their screams would snatch off a cherry, as if the act was some relief to their outraged feelings. The chirp and chatter of the young birds which build in concealed or enclosed places, like the woodpeckers, the house wren, the high-hole, the oriole, is marked in contrast to the silence of the fledglings of most birds that build open and exposed nests. The young of the sparrows, unless the social sparrow be an exception, warblers, flycatchers, thrushes, never allow a sound to escape them, and, on the alarm note of their parents being heard, sit especially close and motionless, while the young of the chimney sparrows, woodpeckers, and orioles are very noisy. The latter, in its deep pouch, is quite safe from birds of prey, except perhaps the owl. The owl, I suspect, thrusts its leg into the cavities of the woodpeckers and into the pocket-like nest of the oriole, and clutches and brings forth the birds in its talons.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?